I have found 5 investments that no one is talking about. In this video, I'm going to explain why you need to add these 5 asset types to your portfolio and how you can do so. Let's get started. Imagine 2 investments. Option A gives you 15% annual rate consistently every year. Option B gives you an unstable return ranging from -30% to +50%. But in long run, it is also averaged at 15% annual rate. Which one would you choose? Although they both yield 15% every year, we as human beings are subject to fear, greed, and all sorts of emotions that propels us to make irrational decisions. For example, we may sell our investment when it tumbles 30% just out of fear. So it is better to choose option A with a stable return. But there's a catch. The more stable an investment is, the less return an investment yields. The most stable investment is cash at the bank, but it pays close to zero nowadays. However, what if I tell you there are investments that consistently outperform the market while having less fluctuation? That's right. They are the Holy Grail of investing. I know you are eager to know what those are, but hold on a second. We need to first understand what makes a portfolio more stable than another. That is correlation, a statistic that matches the degree to which 2 investments move in relation to each other. The more correlated your investments are, the less stable your investment is. That is because when one investment tumbles, all investment tumble. Historically, people hold a mix of stock and bond, the classic 60-40 allocation, since usually when stocks tumble, bonds rally, and vice versa. However, things have changed. In 2022, first time in history, both stock and bond fall by the same magnitude, 22%, which means the old wizard no longer holds. So what should you do? Introducing the 5 alternative investments that no one is talking about. But wait. Make sure you smash that like button and subscribe to my channel for more videos about investment, business, and self-improvement. Disclaimer, this video is not intended to provide investment advice, but merely a concept overview. At the end of the day, if you profit, you don't pay me a penny. First, pro sports ownership. The history of sports is just as long as the history of mankind, with winners and losers, triumphs and tragedies. Sports are an undeniable part of the heartbeat of humanity, and wherever emotions go is where the money resides. Between 2012 and 2020, the S&P 500 returned annual rate of 11%. Over the same period, the Big Four lead NBA, NFL, NHL, and MLB combined give us a staggering 18% compounded annual rate. To make this point clear, check this. Despite Michael Jordan's extremely poor player picking and Charlotte Hornets' consistent ranking among the worst performing NBA team in the past decade, Michael Jordan was still able to sell his majority stake for $3 billion, which tenfolded his initial investment of $275 million. What's more interesting is there seems to be very little correlation between the public market and those sports franchises. For those finance wonk, it is 0.14. Over the past 100 years, this league has survived the pandemics, lockdowns, war wars, player strike, depression, recession, and everything in between. They are incredibly durable assets. As Ian Charles, Arctos Sports partner said, I don't know which SaaS company will be around in 5 years, but I know that 50 years from now, there will be a World Series in October. When you invest in a sports team, you are looking at the return from lead revenue which generates from broadcast rights and sponsorship, local television networks, tickets and events. People pay $12 for a normal hot dog for God's sake. Luxury boxes and suits, real estate, many teams own their venue and allow them to pick up additional revenues from concerts, esports, and etc. Let's not forget about gambling as well. That's how pro sports ownership can make you rich. You know what else can make you rich? A private lending firm. This is simple business. Private lending firms provide capital for company and demand interest as return. It sounds like a bank business. You are right, but not quite. After 2008 global financial crisis, banks were further handcuffed by regulators, diminishing their ability to issue loans. And many companies were left only with one option to keep the cash earning. That's private credit. Another thing is agency problem. Banks take our hard-earned deposit and loan it to others. It's not their money, so they don't take it seriously enough. Worst case, they just shut down. However, private credit firms lend their own money. At least part of the fund is coming out of their own pockets, so the interest is aligned. Here's a table showing some of the return. As you can see, The annual return of private credit consistently beats the market. Now you are looking at something that is high return and low correlation. But the downside is its liquidity. It usually takes 3 to 5 years until you can withdraw your money. So if you can set aside some fund for long run, you definitely want to add private credit into your portfolio. You know what else you want to add to your portfolio? That's our third one. Energy. It's boring, but it prints money. As John F. Kennedy said, energy is the key to human progress. Any country who wants to develop needs energy. Even Sam Altman, the man who made ChatGPT, has claimed that the next blocker for AI development will be energy. By 2050, most experts believe that the total global energy demand will increase by roughly 50%. In recent years, the transfer to clean energy has caught more eyeballs than ever, but the truth is, with the ever-growing energy demand, renewable energy only accounts for 3% of the total energy supply. The dominant way of generating electricity is still burning coal, letting alone powering those machines transfer electricity. Battery disposal is another problem that gets overlooked. To make matters worse, some government even place a ceiling on how much large investment firms can put their money into the oil and coal business. All those things create a mismatch in risk and rewards. On one hand, the demand for oil and coal continued to rise. On the other hand, the entire industry got smacked by media and the regulation, causing the share price to tank. That's where we want to place our bet. Here are some opportunities. First, private equity. Today, more than 50% of the oil rigs running are private equity backed. They generate relatively predictable cash flow and a low correlation with the market. Second, undervalued publicly traded oil and gas companies. Warren Buffett has bet $14.5 billion in Occidental Petroleum Corp. That represents 4.64% of Buffett's total portfolio and an owning of 27.7% of Occidental Petroleum Corp. Similarly, he also invested $18.6 billion in Chevron Corp, another energy giant. The message is clear. When a legend like him speaks, you should listen. Third, private lending firm that focus on energy sector. We've talked about this previously, so we'll skip it here. Bottom line, oil and coal are not going anywhere. Neither should you. Fourth, venture capital and disruptive technology. Between 2004 and 2016, the top 10 venture capital has generated over 34% return annually. This was the golden age, the era that gave us the invention of iPhone, YouTube, Uber, and hundreds of other disruptive tech giants. However, the dark truth is that 9 out of 10 startups die. So if you want to dip your toe in the venture capital world, you need some deep pockets. So how can an average Joe like me join the party? We'll talk about this later. For now, let's see what opportunities there exist. First and foremost, generative AI. There are too many ways that AI will change our world. Experts believe that doctors, lawyers, medical researchers, screenwriters, and computer programmers will be able to move faster than ever. AI has taken venture capital world by storm and will continue doing so. Second, healthcare. The pursuit of eternal health has always been a topic for human race. With the help of technology, we are able to cure disease that cannot be fixed previously. For example, Neuralink, founded by Elon Musk, has successfully allowed a paralyzed man to play chess without even lifting a finger. It is all because of a small piece of brain implant. The company's next goal is to restore someone's vision, even if they were born blind. Third, robotics. It is true that all AI we've seen today only exists in the virtual world. However, robotics are ways to bring them alive. I believe soon we will be living in a world that robots can serve humans, complete dangerous tasks, and do things that humans aren't physically capable of. Amazon now manufactures their own robots and currently have over 520,000 robots working 24/7. Keep your eye on Boston Dynamic. One day you may be working in an electronic dot that break by then. Enough about the fancy word. Let's move on to an investment that its history is just as long as human history. Fifth, real estate. Mark Twain said, "Buy land that aren't making anymore. Everyone needs a place to live, regardless of the economy, country, and etc." Look at history. One would think a recession will guarantee the house price to drop. However, since 1960, we've had 9 recessions, and residential property price only dropped during one of them. Residential property is incredibly durable. To invest in property market, you need to understand supply and demand. Here's a diagram showing the household formation and new home completion. As you can see, starting from 2004, builders are building new homes that the household formation can keep up with. That led to a huge excess in house supply. And combining with other factors, global financial crisis hit us. Fast forward to now, new home completion is actually playing catch up. So the table has turned. Also, we are seeing the lowest home inventory in nearly 2 decades. I don't think I need to emphasize more. Stats don't lie. There are 2 distinct advantages in property investing. First, high leverage. Depending on your credit, you may be able to apply loan up to 80% of the property value. That's a 5-fold leverage. For a property worth $1 million, you only need to pay $200K and the bank paid the rest. This level of leverage with limited risk is unseeable in stock market or perhaps in any other market. Second, tax offset. Investors can avoid paying taxes on any increase in value when their property is sold by exercising the option of buying more property and rolling over the gains as equity in the new investment. As you buy and sell investments throughout your lifetime, you continually roll your appreciated equity gain into your next property purchased. So theoretically, it is possible for you to never have to pay taxes on the gain of your property. Even if you do, after decades, the tax amount is still the same as it was when you first sold the property. It doesn't inflate. So listen to Mark Twain. Buy land. Now that you know there are so many alternative investments that produce better outcome than stock and bond, also diversify your portfolio. You must be eager to know how you can invest in those. There are 2 ways. First, become an accredited investor. In US, that means you need to have an annual income over $250K or have an asset amount over $1 million, excluding your primary house. Being an accredited investor opens a gate for investment options that normal people don't have access to. For example, you can directly invest into startups as individual investor. Also, you can become a general partner in private equity fund where experts take your money and invest into the business we've talked about earlier, so you can leverage their expertise. There are private equities who focus on energy sectors, startups, pro sports ownership, real estate, and etc. All you need to do is pick the right one for yourself. However, only 7% of the US residents have an annual income over $250K. If you are just an average person like me, the good news is there is workaround. For example, if you want to invest in pro sports teams like Manchester United, Juventus, they are actually public listed, so you can directly buy their stocks. Also, venues like Madison Garden, sports betting firms like DraftKings are also publicly listed. There are many REITs, real estate investment trusts for you to pick if you want to gain exposure in the property business. What about startups? There are also ETFs that focus on innovative technology, like the ones that are provided by Kathleen Woods. Remember, there is a will, there is a way. A lot of the stuff that we talk about today is from Tony Robbins' new book, The Holy Grail of Investing. In this book, he breaks down alternative investment in details and documents his interview with 21 investment masters. You definitely should read it. Also, if you want to win the investment game, you need to learn how to make decisions. A good decision can pay you a lifetime, while a bad one may cost you a fortune. If you want to learn how to make decisions the right way, make sure you check out this video. I'm Fatih, my friend.